Hello, everybody. This is a Lamley showcase. We are plowing through the Lamley Awards and we are going to the orange brand Matchbox for 2 videos. This is part 1. I'm going to show you all of the basic new models released in 2022. And then I'm going to drop a part 2, which is all of the moving parts new models released in 2022. Each video will come with a link to lamleygroup.com in the description. You want to go there. It's pretty self-explanatory, lamleygroup.com, where the polls will be, where you can vote on the best and most disappointing for both basic and moving parts for Matchbox. And you can see pictures and everything. It'll all be live. Both videos will go up essentially at the same time. Part 2 will go up after this one drops, just shortly after that. And then you definitely should go vote. Leave comments here on why you voted for what, but definitely vote. That's how it counts. And I have to reiterate, Mattel does look at these. I don't do this for Mattel. I do it for fun. I think it's really fun to review the end of the year, but they do look. They want to see what my audience, what the Lamley audience liked, what they didn't like. And that's why I do the best and most disappointing. Best is self-explanatory, the model that you thought was the best for whatever reason. Execution, casting, choice. Most disappointing, instead of worst, because a lot of people tend to just put their personal opinions on a car, oh, I hate Mustangs, so Mustang's the worst. I want most disappointing because I think it's more interesting. You can say I was really excited about this model, and it just didn't come out the way that I had hoped for whatever reason. So I think that's the more interesting thing. So there's going to be polls for basic and for moving parts. Let's get to it. These are somewhat in order by release. I guarantee you I didn't get it totally right, but that really doesn't matter because it's all about the models that were released. And we will start here with the Dodge Durango. There's actually 2 versions of the Dodge Durango. I only have one. Black was released in basic, and then this might have technically been a 2021 model, but this was released in the first mix of basic in 2022. And there was also a Hitch and Haul version in red, but I never got that one. So we'll just base it on the black. I'm going to try and bust through these. If you want to base it on the Hitch and Haul version, which was kind of a cool looking one, you can, because it's really more about the casting than anything else. This was definitely a 2021 model. It is the Lexus, what's the 1994 Lexus LS400. But it wasn't released until 2022, so we skipped it in the Lamley Awards last year, and it is in the 2022 Lamley Awards. A lot of interest in that one when it came out. It looks like they dropped it again later in the year in 2022. It seems like I saw it on the pegs again. But that may be one that you want to go for. We saw a lot of variety. In fact, it's probably a good time for just, if anything, you're going to obviously pick one model for each category, but I have to say, Matchbox had a stellar year. And maybe we'll talk more about it in the moving parts video. But watch as these models come out and the sheer variety of it. There were some themes here, a lot of EVs from Europe, and I don't know if we saw any Japanese EVs, but definitely American and European EVs. Some classic, some like 90s cars like this one, the Mitsubishi 3000 GT. But variety was the name of the game. Most of these cars were factory, which is cool, like in factory styles, which is kind of a Matchbox signature. Just try and look at the overall scope of what was made this year. It's pretty phenomenal. All right, that's the Mitsubishi 3000 GT. I didn't talk too much about it, but you know what I mean. Speaking of variety, you might think this is a generic non-licensed car, but it's real. It's 1949 Curtiss sport car. Never even heard of it. Had to look it up when Matchbox did it. I think this definitely comes down the pipe from Abe Lugo. He likes stuff like this. And it always, it's toy cars give you an education. There's definitely a billion cars that I've learned about based on what I found on the pegs. That's always a cool part of this. Speaking of classics, here's another one. 1960 Chevy El Camino. We're so used to the later El Caminos. Nice to see a classic version done. This one detailed up real nice. And I really like that color. I don't know what you'd call that color. But it's, it definitely fits from this classic. So many, you always hear that all the time. Sometimes I have a little bit of opinion. People are like, oh, Matchbox really picked it up. They've always done really good factory cars. At least, they've had a couple of weird windows. But especially of late, they put out a lot of really cool, interesting stuff, and they do a nice job in the execution as well. Here's one we've seen from Hot Wheels, but this is Hot Wheels take, or this is Matchbox's take on it. Is the Porsche 918? Is it the, yeah, they call it the Spider here. It's hard top. I think isn't the Hot Wheels an open top? So kind of cool to see the hard top here. This was, I know Graham Heaps, one of our contributors, loved this one. We debated when we did the Best of Matchbox tournament for Instagram. He really wanted this one in here, mainly because of the execution. All right, this one, this is what I have to. This is one thing one of the things that I love about Matchbox is cars like this, where they really go into some of these cool European cars. This is the Opel Kadett. Is there a year on it? Opel Kadett Coupe. Where maybe the car collectors here, the diecast collectors here, may be like, okay, that's cool, but where Europe, a lot of European fans just go into a frenzy. I love it. I love that they do cars like this. The Opel Kadett is a really cool car, and I'll tell you what happened. I think there was a lot of like, oh, that's cool from American collectors, and then they saw the convention, the Leipzig convention car, where they sported it up as a racing car. And then they saw the potential of how cool this casting is. I had to bring this out. It's, it is a convention car. You can judge the casting on this. You don't really have to, I put this in the best of actually, but it just shows off how great this casting is and the potential they can have with it, where they can do the factory stock style, but also do these really cool sport racing cars. All right. This is one that, while I'm not going to try and express all of my opinions, I'll do that in the award show, but this is one that I was really excited about. This is the BMW, what is the official title here? 2012 BMW 3 Series Touring. Obviously, it's the wagon as well. I love European wagons. I'm not alone in that. I think we all kind of share that opinion. They're all really cool. And this particular one, released in black with black rims, very, very cool. Premiere, debut, whatever you want to call it. That was one that I think will garner a fair amount of attention. I thought a great model this year. Truck. Gave us a truck. I think they're giving us another one in 2023, a Freightliner, right? But this is the 1965 Ford C900. I obviously they've built it so you could put a trailer on this, maybe part of the convoy line if they do it, but it's kind of, it's in scale for the the $1 models, but very cool, very detailed and classic. I think these classic cabs are really cool. All right, pushing along as fast as we can. As you get to know Matchbox and you get to know the designers, there's certain Abe Lugo models that you just know came from Abe's brain, what he wanted to do. He loves, he goes to car shows that celebrate cars like this. This is the 1936 Ford Coupe. He and his wife own cars like this. They go to car shows, they dress it up, they dress up the part. You got to follow him at Abe Lugo on Instagram and you'll see it. It's really, really cool. And it's fun to see them do replicas of cars like this. I think it's awesome. All right, that is the Ford Coupe. And then there couldn't be a car more opposite than the Tesla. This is the Model X. We have an opening parts, but this is the basic version that they did. Opening parts was released several years ago. The castings seem to both have been built from scratch. They seem very different. Maybe this is a more updated Tesla X. Not entirely sure. I actually prefer this one to the opening parts. I think it's just a little bit better put together. Released actually two colors, interestingly. So we got this blue version and then white. Always like the white. It seems like there's a million white Teslas on the road. Why not replicate it in the line? So we've got two of the Tesla Model X's, and of course we have one coming up here in just a second. But in between those Tesla releases was another classic. This is the Dodge Charger. Official name, 1966 Dodge Charger. Hot Wheels has done this one. This is a nice, I like the perfect use of the rims, of those kind of disc style rims. Really showing the era, very era appropriate with those wheels. And then a nice clean color in orange. And this one gets the rear detailing, which I think is just vital for a Dodge with those cool tail lights. And then all the other details are in the grille. So that's a lot of classic car fans among the Matchbox collectors. And it's sandwiched between two Teslas. Here's the Y, the Tesla Y. Happy to see the Tesla Y being done. Their first two at Hot Wheels has theirs this year, right? But or in 2023. But Matchbox beat them to it. Matchbox has quite the fleet of Teslas now. I guess both brands do, but Matchbox has um, the X, the Y, the S. They don't have a 3. Hot Wheels does, but they have the truck as well. The actual hauler, not the Cybertruck, the new hauler. Anyway, that's the Tesla Y. Done factory. There's not much to say about it. We see all of them on the road all the time. EVs, like I said, was the theme. You saw those Teslas. But here's another one. This is the Renault Megane. I believe this is an EV. Am I right in that? I think it is. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys can tell me, but I think it is. I'm almost just assume they are when they do new cars like this. So new hatches, it seems like they're always EVs now. So maybe I'm wrong, but I think that one is the Renault EV. Cool to see some European representation there. This one I definitely know is. It's the Ford Lightning, official name, 2022 Ford F-150 Lightning. We know it is the new electric truck that Ford has done. Nice replica. I really like this one with the modern trucks. I like that when Matchbox does these that are more just like, they're not lifted, they're not slammed, they're just very utility. And they did that with the Ram, the recent Ram Police. And this one I think fits nicely with that. We'll put that right here. Seems like we go EV Classic, EV Classic. So there we do it again. This is the Ford 300, 1957 Ford Custom 300. Another Abe Lugo style, just from that classic era. Really developing a large family of these kind of cars. It's really nice. And they're executed well. And I'm happy to see more of the chrome, the VUM coating go on these cars. It seemed like there was a long time they're doing these classics, so we didn't see the chrome. Still pops up that kind of gray plasticky look, but they're giving these cars the right treatment, thankfully now. And I think that needs to be acknowledged because that was kind of a bummer each time that those gray bumpers would show up on a car that definitely needed chrome. All right, so here we go. Back to EV, right? This is the Audi e-tron SUV. Dig the color on this one. Nice debut color for this car. I always like Audis. Audis we've seen more and more in diecast, which is nice. EVs are EVs. I like EVs, especially in real life. They make for, pretty standard looking diecast, but kind of down the alley for Matchbox. People have strong opinions about EVs. They shouldn't. I think that's where we're headed, right? So the more EVs we get, with good performing EVs and good functioning EVs, it's nice to see the brands like Matchbox and Hot Wheels embracing them. This one might be. I have no idea. It's another cool European-centric model, 2021 Citroen Ami, I think, AMI. Little two-seater car, right? Little commuter car. Seems very appropriate and kind of fits that style. And I have to think you could plug that thing in. It's like a Roomba. All right, let's keep going. You could plug in a Roomba, right? Well, people could stand on it and let it dry in places. This is awesome. Oops, that's an opinion. But this is the Cadillac. I made the mistake, very typical John mistake, when I did this showcase, and I said, oh, they called it the CT5V, and it should be the CTS, but I was wrong. It is the CT5, Cadillac CT5V Blackwing. Really cool. They did the CTS wagon, the CTS coupe several years ago, and now we get this one, the CT5, which looks really good, really sporty, nice detailing. Cadillac, I know, really wants their logo and their grills always looking good, and that is the case here with that. Oh, look, an EV. We got another one. Lots of opinions about this car. I think the casting is really well done. This is the Mustang, right? 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E, the not Mustang. I love EVs. I love that these companies are doing it, make more sports cars, but don't take... I don't know. If you're going to do an electric Mustang, make it look like a Mustang. I have no problem with an electric Mustang. Do a two-door electric sports car. They're doing Dodge is doing the Challenger with the fake sounds. I mean, it doesn't offend me. It is kind of funny. Like, we can get over it. We can have an electric muscle car, I think. And And this is fine. Just call it the Ford whatever, but don't call it a Mustang. I just think that was a bad decision on their part. But that's in the real life. Matchbox replicated it and did a nice job. It's a nice replica, and I like I like it when Matchbox replicates boring cars. I do. Doesn't necessarily mean I like get super excited about it for my collection, but I kind of like him. Just like put them all together, like this one. Here's the what is this? This is a VW, right? See, they all look the same. I know they all look the same, but I'm glad they do it, and it's a nice collection. I'm showing you the mixed opinion here. I think the cars are a little bit boring. I'm happy about them. Okay, let's go through it. This is the Volkswagen Electric Vehicle 4, so EV4 is what it's called, right? And maybe they put a different name on it on the card. I don't remember. I don't have the card. Electric cars. Glad they exist. Glad that the technology is advancing. I think it's great for the environment. I think we need to have them that way. We need to move forward. I'm glad that they function well. I love looking at cars that are cool. Sometimes I don't like driving cars that are cool. I just like cars that get me around. These definitely do, so I like them for that, but they are very boring looking, and when you put them all together, scaled down in 1/64, they do tend to blur together. Then again, I think it's cool to have all of them together, so that's a full-on mixed opinion on the EVs, and that, I think, concludes what came in the basic main line. There are still some other basic new models, so let's get to them so we can keep this video fairly short. Not short, but shorter than 20 minutes. Jurassic World, we saw 3 new castings come out of the Jurassic World line this year. This is a Jeep. They don't have moving parts, so I'm lumping them together with this. You can definitely vote on one of them if you like it. This one doesn't even... Oh, Jeep Gladiator. I knew it was a Gladiator, but I don't know if it had any other names to it. It's obviously customized for Jurassic World for the movie or for the park that the movie's in. I didn't see the movie, but obviously it's a customized Jeep Gladiator. Very cool looking. A lot of detail there. Of the Jurassic World models, though, this was the one I thought it was a pretty cool, significant. I actually treated this like you would Fast and Furious models. This is the Ford F-150, 1986 Ford F-150. And it's just a very plain truck from the mid-'80s, and that's what I love about it. It seems like it's kind of an ignored era of pickups. Maybe as we go forward, you'll see more of these. But they did this, obviously it was a character's car, I'm assuming, in the movie, but they just made this very stock looking. It doesn't, as soon as you move the Jurassic World packaging, you've got yourself a very cool, very Matchbox-esque 80s truck. I think it's awesome. I am expressing opinions. I do think this is one of the highlights of the year. Whether you voted as the best model, I do think this is one of the cooler things that Matchbox did this year. And I'm looking forward to that casting showing up elsewhere. So let's just put that there. And then, no, not lastly, but lastly from Jurassic World, we got this Jeep. We've got 1 million Jeeps from Jurassic World. This is the second of the 3. There were 2 Jeeps in the 3 Jurassic World models. This is technically, what is it? 2018 Jeep JL. So just a little, very standard, boxy Jeep. 2 other models. And quite cool, actually, from 2 very different eras. We saw the Best of Germany line pop up. And in fact, it popped up in the United States, too. I don't know if they called it Best of Germany or Best of World. But this Porsche was a new model. We're going to see it in the Porsche series that is going to be coming out very soon. It's been hitting out in some places. I'll be previewing that soon. But this is the Porsche Macan. Is there a year on this one? Oh, Cayenne. No, the Macan's coming out next year. This is the Porsche Cayenne Turbo. Sorry, I got that wrong. Second time they've done the Porsche Cayenne. The last one they did was like 2006. But yeah, we're going to see this one probably pop up all over the place. But cool to see another Porsche SUV, and I think very well done casting. I'll put that right here. And the last one, which has been fairly hard to find. In fact, I haven't found it. So Matchbox sent me one so I could show it. This is the 1940 Dodge pickup. Official name of this, 1940 Dodge V-Series truck. Such a classic truck, and they've designed it to give it that two-tone look. Look at the grill on this. So well done. Headlights look cool. This is from the Dodge series, which hasn't really hit in droves yet, but is a 2022 release, and it's out, so I definitely wanted to include it. So there are some holdovers for 2022 that will go into 2023. They are out now, but they're technically in 2023 mixes. That includes the Toyota 4Runner, the Rivian truck, I have them in my possession, but I'm not going to include them here because they are in the 2023. So they'll move forward for the 2023 awards. All right, there you go. That is all the basic new casting, licensed new castings released in 2022. Head down to lamleygroup.com and vote. Tough choice. You got a lot of EVs, you got a lot of classic cars, and you got a lot of cool in between. I think it was a really cool, nice, diverse mix of cars coming from Matchbox this year. You guys tell me what you think. Tell me about their overall year. Let's move on to moving parts. Bye.